So I am going to do a second YouTube today because I really do have a lot to say. Um, this morning I was reminded of something that I don't want to get into too much details about. It's just this knowingness. Um, so I've talked in my previous videos about this idea of, about Jesus, like, as they would say, ascending from seeming death. Like he left his body. And then when he was standing in front of them, they could see that it was him. And it appeared to be his body. I mean, it looked like him according to scripture. And so I really don't have the answers to all of this. I don't. But I'm just really considering the idea, because another thing that I've been seeing has been happening for me a lot lately is that I think the idea that we have parallel lives is actually a valid idea. And I didn't believe that before until now, because I see people all over town who they resonate with somebody else I know. And so it's just so interesting. I walk around, like even this morning I saw someone that I had chased down the street because I thought it was somebody else. And then I realized it wasn't him. Sometimes they look slightly different, but and I'm not really sure what all of that is about. I don't. I live, like I had said before, in a lot of mystery. But I'm entertaining this idea. So, and then also this other idea of that I had seen about, like, John Lennon and Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Jesus. The anybody who talks actually about freedom has this tendency to get ousted one way or another, because we don't want people to be free. Like, these powers that be don't want us to be free to do what we want, free to love who we want, free to live where we want, free to live an opulent life. They want us controlled. They want us controlled through fear, through, if you don't take this job that pays you enough. I mean, why not just be happy with a $40,000 an hour a year job? And yes, I am lucky to have had that in a sense. But that was my belief. That was my belief. My belief was that that's all I can hope for. And now when I look for jobs, I sort of want to laugh, because it wasn't even just that. I mean, they weren't happy with my education. They weren't happy with the way I was doing my job. I wasn't doing enough. And I just more and more and more and more. They wanted more and more and more from their employees with no change in pay. And you just have to meet these expectations. These are just the expectations. And if you can't meet them, there's 10 other people that are willing to get this job. And so we're all expendable. We're not treasured for our gifts. We're just expendable. But what if people were doing what they wanted to do? And in essence, what I'm seeing is there wouldn't be this competition, because people like to do all kinds of different things. Like, my son loves to play soccer, and he's a really, really good soccer player. And I believe he's going to be in the World Cup, in the next World Cup. And he just needs to believe that himself. And his team is just this amazing team. And I've seen them just evolve into these really happy, sparkly, amazing soccer players, and they're going to have an amazing season, and I am going to be able to watch, and it's going to be so exciting. And some people are artists, some people are musicians, some people are scientists, some people are teachers. They just love to teach. Like in Finland, teachers are actually paid the same amount as doctors, because teachers in Finland are valued, because they know that the future is being shaped by the education that these children are getting. Anyway, another one of my rampages, I'm sorry. Anyway, so if people were doing what they loved to do, then everybody would be happy, and we don't mind paying for services. Like, if we have a decent wage, we don't mind. We love our cell phones. We absolutely love our cell phones. We just want opulence to be able to happily pay for that and the groceries on our table. If everybody was doing, and people would be happy, and families would be happy. They could have more time off, maybe more like they do in Europe, where they have a lot more time off. They have universal health care. They don't have to worry about getting sick. You know, in the U.S., we pay a ton of money to, like, if something goes wrong, you know, you're just one heart surgery away from bankruptcy. I was hearing about this one child who, he got a virus and he was in the emergency room, and they had hospital bills up to $1 million. Like, you can't even touch that. I guess the state pays for it. And it's not that I don't think that hospitals are worth the money, because they absolutely are. But it makes sense to have our tax money go toward hospitals and doctors and chiropractors and naturopaths, you know, rather than to insurance companies, in a sense. And anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again, and I want to come back to this idea of people who have espoused justice, like Gandhi. And I don't really know my history as well as I should, but it was my understanding that Gandhi, that the British were taking their salt, and that he was fighting to have them be able to keep their salt and make their own money from their salt. And so he was standing up for justice. He was standing up for what he knew was right. So people who stand up for what they know is right have this tendency to be ousted. And so it just sort of keeps everyone in their place, doesn't it? You know, it sort of keeps everyone just keeping with status quo, and just, you know, like what happened with me in my last job is, you know, they didn't like the way I was doing my job, and they found a way to get rid of me. And while other people were probably more compliant, I think the bigger issue was that they learned that I'm not easily controlled. And so, but it keeps people really in their place, doesn't it? If we let people go, if we scare people into compliance and just do what you're told, and don't have any desires for anything more in your life. And me being right now I've been seen by, I mean, even family members have been having a hard time with me because I've been living authentically, and I know that I am opulent in a sense that it's not necessarily even about money. I mean, money is part of it, but, you know, just being seen as crazy because I stepped out on a ledge. I got in God's basket. I am like between the trapeze. I am in the now, not on this side and other side. I am trusting in the goodness of God in every given moment of my life. And it's exhilarating. It's exhilarating. And it also has a sort of scary part to it. But I just know. I know. It's not that I think. I know. I know that this is how we're supposed to be living. And this is how Jesus told us to live. He said his burden is light and his yoke is easy. He said he came that we might have life abundantly. He said that God was the vine and we were the branches. He said that if you say to that mountain with the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to that mountain to move, and that mountain will move. And he said that we would do greater things than he did. He said we would do greater things than he did. But we have to live like he lived. And he lived in absolute trust. He was a master of manifestation. I believe that he did turn the water into wine, and he did feed the 5,000. Anyway, so I'm going to go now. All right, I'll be back. I love you guys. I hope you have a good day, and I hope this inspires. Anyway, love you. Bye.